Hello, everyone. It's Kristen Fagan here with Softlex Company for a beading party today. So wonderful to see all of you. And I've got Sandra Dotson from Entangled Co. with me. Hi, Sandra.
Hi.
So some of you might be surprised to see me. It was originally Sarah that was going to be here chit-chatting with you all and hanging out today. I know she jumped on a live with everybody yesterday just for a little bit of an update. However, they did get some news last night that wasn't great. And so she's still processing that new information that they got yesterday. And I said, no problem. I will be here. I love hanging out with all of you. I had such a great time in Sandra's class over at Craftcation. And so I'm here. So welcome, Sandra. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. It's exciting. First time doing anything like this. So let me scramble through and we'll see.
Yes. Oh, I was telling Sandra before we went live that you are all so wonderful. You're such an awesome community. We have a lot of regulars here that join us on our lives, and you guys are always so welcoming to new friends. So let's give Sandra a really, really warm welcome. And Sandra, just tell us a little bit about you, your wire journey, and your company Entangled Co.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. So yeah, my name is Sandra. I live in California. I'm, 30 something? 7, I think. Actually, it was my birthday last week, so I think 37 is correct now.
Oh, it's funny when you get to that point where you get it wrong. Or you're just not sure. I had something happen recently where a friend was like, "Oh, my wife is turning such and such age," and I said, "Oh, I thought she was younger than me." And my husband looked at me and goes, "She is."
That's great.
I was like, "Oh shoot, she is."
Yeah, we decided to I'm 25.
There you go.
It's always 25.
It's just so that's easier to remember, right?
Exactly.
25.
Exactly.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, my company is Entangled Co. and I specialize in crafting jewelry that reflects individuality using wire weaving and silversmithing techniques to create wearable statements of self-expression. And
it's beautiful. If you guys haven't taken a look yet, Damien, I don't know if you've done it already, but can you pop over Sandra's website onto the chat and I can highlight it so everyone can take a look at some point. Judith says, I'm with you. I'm 25 with 50 years of experience.
I love that.
That's super cute.
Perfect.
There you go. So you can go find Sandra's work over at entangledco.com. And it's really, really stunning. I know you just launched a new collection somewhat recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a summer collection. It's been a while, actually. I just took a little time off, so I guess it was recently in that regard. But yeah, I just did a summer collection where I blended silversmithing and wire weaving. And
would you have something there to show? I'll come in close for you.
A lot of small turquoise and flowery designs and some seamless wire weaving. I don't know how well you can see the weaving on the camera.
I can see it really well. It looks fantastic.
Things like this were a part of the collection.
Oh, that's so cool. I know there's a lot of people here that are comfortable wire working, and there might be some of you that are also silversmiths. I'm not sure. That's out of my realm of things that I get to play with, but I think it's really fun to see how you combined the two into that collection. Really.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm always hitting the wrong buttons. So many options. And I met Sandra because Sarah and I went to the Craftcation conference this year, and you happen to be one of the teachers. I have shared this beautiful pendant that we made together in your class. It was really cool. And it was the first time I've really tried anything like this. I've done wrapping, but I have never done any of the weaving part. And yeah, I was surprised that I was able to pull it off. It was a quick 2 hours.
It did go by quick. That's true. I felt like I had to really stamp through to get it done. But I think weaving with wire just adds so much detail to any piece. So if you're already using some wire, incorporating some weaving and adding some of that texture, I think is just beautiful.
It really is. And I think this is a kit that you sell. Is that correct?
That's right. I have a couple of different kits. I have one that's a really basic one that's wire weaving for beginners. And if you already have some wire at home, you don't need the kit. You can get the PDF. But it basically teaches you the weaving basics. So anything from how to hold your wires, what gauges to use, and a couple different patterns for doing the weaving itself. But then if you have figured out how to do the weaving, I sell a kit for making these heart pendants. So you just showed it. And if you're interested later, I'm happy to open these up and show you what's inside. But basically, you can make a gold or a silver heart that is woven with wire from these kits. And all of them are available as PDFs too. So if you have already the materials at home, you can just get the tutorials.
That's fantastic. I don't remember what gauges that we used on the heart. I feel like it might have been 18 and 26. Is it those?
Yeah, so that's typically what I recommend when you start out with weaving. 18 as your base, because it's a little bit thicker, gives you a little bit more to hold on to that doesn't move as much. And then 26, the same thing. It's fine enough to weave easily, but it's not too fine to break. When I make jewelry, I tend to work with 20 and 28 or 30 gauge, but 30 gauge gets so fine that it's really difficult when you're a beginner. So starting out, 18 and 26 works really well.
Yeah, we were talking about that when we put together the Monster Mash kits, and I'm just going to switch over to mine for a second. And when we did it, we ended up doing the 18 and the 26 gauge craft wire, which is why I decided to try some weaving on Monday's video. And I made this with all of you, these little cute bat earrings. And when I was doing that, I was trying to decide, because I did see that some people go, to 28, and I'm surprised you even go all the way to 30. Oh my gosh, that's super thin. And I got nervous getting any lower than 26 personally, because I'm a little rough, and I feel I was a little afraid I would snap it. But if you're a beginner, that 18 and 26 gauge combination, which you can find in our Monster Mash supply kits, is perfect to start out with. And then, you can even go down, like Sandra said, you can go to 20 and 28, or even go down to 30. I don't think we sell 30. I think our lowest that we finish that we go is the 28 gauge at Softflex Company. But I'd be fascinated to see how it works on that finer gauge.
Yeah, it just makes a difference in how the weave ends up looking. Let me see if I can get I have like a little clip on. Oh, is my camera off now?
Oh, I gotcha.
There it is. Hold on, it's going to be blurry for a second. There you go.
Oh my goodness.
So you see that the left one here, is it left on there too? Yeah. The left one is 28 gauge and the right one is 30 gauge. And you see the difference in the detail of the weaving. And
look at I can't believe the difference.
Isn't that crazy when you look at it under like a macro lens like this?
That's amazing.
And it makes a difference in how it catches the light in the end. So that's really what I like differentiating. And obviously at the end, it looks like a little bit rougher with the thicker gauge versus finer with the finer gauge. So that makes a difference too, right?
I'm just shocked that the 20, what'd you say that was the 26, looks that thick.
It's
in
28 actually.
comparison.
So this is
Wow.
28 and 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's really just one step down. That is wild. Oh my gosh. I love like it just feels like the basket weaving on like a micro scale.
Yeah, it's really fun. I'm starting to get older now, and so I actually have to start wearing glasses sometimes to really see.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of really cool magnifying glasses out there that I'm sure many of you do have in your stash for things like that. I had someone ask about the beads in my picture, so I'm just going to share them, and then we can switch back to Sandra, and she's going to give us a little demonstration. But let me talk about what I've got going on here. So at softluxcompany.com, we just added all of these gorgeous flowers, and I only have 13 colors here, but we actually added 22 colors. So I only got a little bit of them to play with. So you can go check them all out, all 22 colors at softluxcompany.com. We have a brand new sale that started today. If you spend $99 or more, you'll get $15 off your order, no coupon needed, and that is good until October 17th. These are called the boho flowers. They're 18 millimeters in size, and you'll get 4 of them, a 4 count in the package. So the price you see online, you get 4 beads for that. So you'll have something that comes like that. But they're so pretty. They're super duper pretty. I think because our friend Cassandra at Beads to Live By also introduced some of these. And when we did these earrings together last week on last week's beading party, she took this design that I created and she added the flowers at the bottom instead, and it looked so cute. So so if you want to make a pair of those, you can go check out the beading party from last week where I made these together, and then you can just add in those flowers instead. So many colors. I know we never I shouldn't say never, but we very rarely bring in like every single color offered. So it's kind of fun to have 22 different colors to choose from. Ooh, look at these black and green ones. They are so, so cool. And in addition, we have these fun owls that we brought in for the fall. Sarah made a gorgeous pair of earrings yesterday with the fern link and the turquoise owls. We also have these really sweet little bird coins that we brought in because our next kit is birds of the feather. And here is our harvest moon bead strand. We think we still have some of these left. This is the harvest moon that we're doing in the TGBE, which is the Great Bead Extravaganza, which happens next weekend. And then I pulled out some rolla beads from our collection that I thought worked really well with these fall colors, the turquoise. This is like a travertine and copper. And that's what I've got on my table to play with. But I was telling Sandra before we went live that I made one large and one small earring for these bat earrings. So I might try and make myself one that matches just a little bit better than those two. So go check that out at softluxcompany.com. And I'm going to switch back over to Sandra. And I also wanted to share that Sandra has a coupon that she is offering us. So Damien, if you could grab her coupon information and share that in the comment, I will pop that up on screen for everyone too. I don't know if you put an expiration date on that, Sandra, but I don't know that I had one.
I don't remember.
So just a note that if you're watching this video in the future, this might be expired.
I'm looking. I did not put one on there, but I'll probably eventually retire it. But for now, it's running.
So it's running for now. You've got some time. If you're watching this video, somewhat in the near future, you're good. But things go out there into the cyber world and people could be watching years later. So just be aware that it's possible This coupon
That's
is
right.
expired. But we have a special coupon for all of you, Softflex15 for 15% off exclusively for our customers over at Sandra's website, entangledco.com. Thanks for that, Sandra. That was really sweet of you to offer.
Of course, it's so fun to be able to offer, especially the kits and the PDFs to people. I think wire weaving needs to become more mainstream. So
I agree. It was a lot of fun. And I definitely can see so many new possibilities of creating with it. So,
awesome.
what would you
I
like to
just saw
share with us?
I just saw those coins with the birds,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
have this ring that I make, and I need to get some of those and make them a little bigger with the coins, right? I think that
Oh,
would be
that would
pretty
be
fun.
so nice. Yeah, the shape of these, the nice flat shape would be very comfortable to wear as a ring.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
That's
Anyway,
super gorgeous.
so yeah, as I mentioned, I currently offer 3 different tutorials that are available as PDFs. I just have them in envelopes here, but essentially you can download them from my website. And some of these are also available as kits. So if you've never done any wire weaving, I thought, why not do a little demo? So I just opened up one of my wire weaving for beginner kits, and it's actually pretty simple. It just contains some bamboo skewers, some 16 gauge base wire, and some 28 gauge weaving wire. And I like using skewers to start out with and to practice because they don't bend.
They were wonderful. We had the skewers in the class that you taught, and I thought that they were perfect to practice on. And they're nice and large, so you can kind of see what you're doing and get comfortable with it.
Exactly. And then once you feel a little bit comfortable with it, you can graduate to the wire. And I include the 16 gauge even instead of 18 because it's yet a little bit sturdier. It gives you yet a little bit more grip. It's not ideal for making jewelry because it ends up being so stiff that you can't, manipulate it all that well anymore. But for practicing, it's perfect. So if you want to, you can go run, get some skewers real quick and some fine gauge wire. You can weave along or you can just watch me do it. But essentially, I'm using yarn to demonstrate it because it's much easier to see on camera. I'm actually going to come down a little bit closer. And you can weave pretty much any weaving pattern that you might be familiar with from fiber crafts and do it with wire. I tend to use mostly 2 base wires, sometimes 3 or 4, depending on the project. But 2 is sort of the most common for like the finer pieces. And then if you get into pendants and such, you might do a little bit more. And typically you start out by, wrapping your wire around your base. I just lost a skewer there.
I was going to say wrangling the skewer, wrangling the pieces probably gets a little tougher the more you add because I was even having a hard time keeping the 2 together. So
that's exactly right. Yeah, it's a little bit of getting used to holding all the things. But you know what? When you knit or crochet, it's kind of like that too, right? It's like awkward at first until you sort of figure out how to best hold things, and then it gets easier.
The beginnings are always the hardest part. That's true.
Yeah. And then the nice thing with the skewers here is that your wire doesn't move on them as much and they're thicker and they don't bend. So you can really kind of do your thing. And we can do a very basic, I call it X by X weave, a 3 by 2. So we did 3 lashes around the bottom and then you do 2 around both. And then you do 3. I've not done the skewers in a long while. 3 around the bottom and then 2 around both, and you repeat that, right? And did my camera just freeze? No, there we go. And you can keep going like that, and you already have a nice pattern. And I think that's what you used for your earrings, right, Kristen?
I did. I think I did. I'm looking at it now. I did 3 and 3. So I did 3 around both of them, and then 3 just on the bottom, and then 3 around both. So just added an extra on the bottom part.
Exactly. And it's such a versatile weave that you can do it however you want. I'm just randomly grabbing a pendant from the side. So on this one, I think I did 6 and 1. So it gives you more spacing between. But you could also do 1 and 1 or 2 and 5 if you wanted, whatever. And that makes this pattern just really fun because you can just, adapt it to the design however you would like to.
Yeah, it's kind of neat to be able to just make one small change and see how that works, and then another small change and see how that works.
Exactly. And then I think the one other thing I can pass along more easily with actual wire, but you can see how hard that is to see on camera. I think with wire weaving, you want to think of it more like folding rather than pulling or weaving in a sense. So what you do is you fold your weaving wire around, you guide it, you use the ability of the metal to stay in its shape, and you guide it around. You don't want to like pull really hard. You want to just sort of guide it around and move it into place. And so think of it more like folding, like if you were to use paper, rather than trying to be really harsh on the material. And that gives you more flexibility and more control.
That's a very good tip. We used to have a coworker, our friend James, that worked with us, and he was really wonderful with wire. And I realized from him that, my biggest difficulty with wire was that I was a little rough and I was trying to do things too fast. And so he really helped me to see like slowing down and being a little more controlled and a little bit softer actually goes a long way when it comes to wire work.
Exactly. It really is true. And then eventually you get sort of in the groove and everything just flows.
I love it. So how did you get interested in doing this kind of work?
I'm a crafter at heart, like we probably all are. And what I ended up doing is I tried out polymer clay. So it's polymer clay's fault, really.
How did you get from polymer clay to here? Wow, that's interesting.
So actually I have to take another step back. At some point or another, I tried out some resin, and I had these little silicone molds for resin, and I hated it. It stank and it was sticky and it was messy and I hated doing it. But I had those molds still. So then I tried polymer clay at some point later on, and I used those molds for the clay. So I ended up making some like crystal shapes with the polymer clay. And then I was like, well, what am I going to do with this now? So I stumbled over wire wrapping, really, and that's how it all started.
So you kind of made cabochons, like things that you had to kind of figure out how to.
Yeah, not even. They're really more like rough crystal shapes. I'm kind of thinking I have them somewhere, but I don't have them handy.
So interesting. So how long ago was that? When did you really kind of dive into the wire side?
That was like 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
That's awesome. And how did you start teaching?
Everybody always asks, how do you do this? How does this work? And there's so many fantastic wire weaver, wire wrappers out there, but we're all different. We all have our own style, right? And so I thought, give it a try. And I started teaching in person at like a local, what are they? They call themselves the Crafters Library. They're sort of like a co-working space for crafters. And
that is a great idea.
Yeah.
Is it local to you?
Yeah, it's in Santa Barbara, California, and you can basically go and you can get a membership for a day, a month, a year, and you can use all of the things they have. So, you can use their Cricuts or their sewing machines and their 3D printer and all that. And that's pretty cool. And so, yeah, when they opened up, I was like, I should try and teach some classes. So that's when I started the heart pendant, and for a while I also taught the swirly ring. And that's how it all started with the teaching, and I really enjoy it. Back in my corporate days, I used to do a lot of teaching, not crafting, but other like computer, like programming stuff. And so I really always enjoyed it. So going back to that was great. And then, yeah, I was putting together, actually, initially, this was my first tutorial for this necklace. I'm actually wearing it today too.
Oh, are you? Let's see if we can see it. So pretty. Is it 2 rings?
Yeah, it is essentially. It's like a very basic design, but what's really neat about it is that it's all cold connection, so there's no soldering required or anything.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so I created this tutorial as a PDF, and then I realized that as a beginner, you wouldn't be able to make that. You needed a little bit more, background in order to be able to really make it if you're a beginner. And that's how I started out doing the beginner kits and the beginner weaving. So for the ring, it's an adaptation of someone else's. I see someone asking in the chat, do you have a PDF for the ring? It's an adaptation of someone else's design, and you can find it actually on YouTube. Her name is Oksana Crafts. If you look her up on YouTube, you'll find a version of this ring.
I think I have watched her channel. She's got a very popular channel, I think.
Yeah, she does. I think I learned wire wrapping from her.
Yeah, because that sounds very familiar. And so I think I have definitely stumbled upon her channel in the past. I'll have to give her another look and check it out.
Yeah, so absolutely.
I'm just hanging out over here doing some weaving with the 18 and the 26 gauge to try and make an earring that matches one or the other. I don't know if it's going to be big or small. But I'm hoping I can get it a little closer. Yes, tricks are good. What do you got?
You can use like just a piece of wire, like something thin, to measure out your distance of your earring. Just like, run it along your existing earring.
Oh, that is because now that it's in a loop shape, you can't really just put it on a ruler. But that's a really good tip to take.
And then you can open it up and have your distance.
Thank you. Yes, yeah. I will definitely be utilizing that tip as I get closer to the end here.
You can always bend it and then keep weaving, but it's so much harder to weave when you're bending. It's easier to be in a straight line.
Yes, I have enough trouble in a straight line right now. So that's probably where I should stay.
Oh, you're doing good though.
I see some of you are definitely entering our giveaway. If you haven't noticed, we do have a giveaway happening here on this video. You just have to be here at the end to win. Use the hashtag MonsterMash, all one word, in your comment, and that will enter you into our giveaway. I'm going to give away one of our Monster Mash supply kits. So you will get some craft wire in 26 and 18 gauge. You'll also get some Softlex wire in copper color and black onyx color. And you'll get some cute little beads, a couple of charms for the holiday, and some gunmetal and black crimps, ear wires, and clasp findings. So that's included in our Monster Mash kit. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Monster Mash is a 2-day jewelry event that we're doing this week. It starts tomorrow. We partner up with our friends over at Jesse James Beads, and we have 2 classes on Thursday. It starts at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and 2 classes on Friday, also at 1 p.m. Pacific time. You can find them right on the Softlex Company Facebook page and YouTube channel, as well as the Jesse James Facebook page and YouTube channel. And we just have a few of those kits left. I know Jesse James Beads have sold out of their bead kit. We had made a few more of the supply kit. So I've been giving, I figured I'd give one away today, and you may have some opportunities tomorrow and Friday as well. So if you haven't had that on your calendar, be sure to put it on your calendar so that you can join us tomorrow. And everything's available for replay. So if you miss us live, you can always watch the replay. And this will be available for replay as well. So you can always watch this video at a later date too. So Sandra, you are from Germany originally, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And you just went back home to visit family.
Yeah, just last week. Last 2 weeks.
So much fun. Do you have any other crafters in your family?
My mom is creative, but I don't think she's a crafter. She paints. She does like watercolor paints and acrylic stuff, but she doesn't do like hands, like crafty things with her hands in that sense, if that makes,
Yes. So that's very cool. Do you think that's where you get sort of the artistic gene from your mom?
Yeah, maybe. I wonder.
That's awesome. I love that. Ruby says she is fun to learn with. Thanks, Ruby. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today?
Yeah, you know what? I just remembered something that is free for everyone. If you're interested in just some basic words escaping me, materials, resources to start learning, I have a few free downloads on my website. If you go around and find it, I think I shared the link with you too, but this is an example. So I have one that's wire basics. It's all about like different types of wire, what you can get, like solid jewelry wire, craft wire, what the differences are, things like that. So that's kind of cool, and that's free to download. And then I have another one that's sort of wire working tools. So what tools are good to use and when, and so on and so forth. So if you're interested in that, that's available on my website as well. There it is. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's always nice to have some resources. And for many of us, this might be a completely new concept to do any of this wire weaving. So go check that out, see what kind of things Sandra suggests for materials and resources, and pick up one of her kits. Like she said, she's got a beginner wire weaver kit, and then she's also got that wonderful heart pendant that I know so many of you liked in the picture that we shared. She's got that available as a full kit and as a PDF download if you already have the materials and you just want the instructions.
Yep. And so you're always welcome to reach out. Go check out my Instagram. I have a lot of like free little process videos and tips and tricks on there too. So always worth going over there too.
Super cool. So in addition to Instagram, where are some of your favorite places to hang out?
More recently I started live streaming on Twitch.
Oh, that's a new one for me. I think we did talk about that when we were doing our little test. And so any of you guys out there out on Twitch, is that something that you guys are hanging out at? That is new for me, but I know a lot of people do stream there.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because Twitch has been around for like ever. And they used to do only video game streaming, but they've got a whole like arts and crafts section, and it's so fun. It's such an amazing community of people that are just so welcoming and warm, and all over the world too. So it's definitely worth checking out if you're just wanting to watch other people do their craft.
That's how I probably have heard about it, is from my kids who do, video game stuff. And so they probably are the ones that have talked about it. And I, kind of in my peripheral heard about it a little bit from them. Well, I probably won't finish this entirely, but
you got so far. Look at you.
Right? I made some progress. And I don't know if all of my counts are exactly right because I was talking and rapping at the same time, but that's all right. I'm okay with that because nobody will really know but me, especially when I bend it up and make it into an earring. But I did do a.
No one's gonna go in there and count.
No, they're not. And if they do, then I don't need that kind of person in my life. I don't need that kind of pressure. But I did share the entire earring on Monday. So if you are interested in seeing how I made this, you can go check it out on Monday. One of the things I said, Sandra, on Monday is that for me, the hardest thing to figure out was like how to finish this up at the top. So that's something I think that as you, as you learn, or if you pick up a nice tutorial from somebody who knows what they're doing, like Sandra, you'll get some better tips on how to really kind of finesse those ends. I couldn't remember. Yeah, I couldn't remember in our class if we just worked on straight wire pieces or if I ended up putting a little loop at the end just so I had something to kind of anchor me and grab onto.
Yeah, I think that's a clever idea for an earring design to start with a loop. Always depends.
Yeah. So I think that I know that I did see some friends of ours. We have a Facebook group called the Softlex VIB Studio. I did see some friends of ours try it out, and they had a little, their own way of ending it, which looked really nice too. But that was the part that I struggled with the most as being someone who's new, is I was like, how do I start and stop?
Yeah. And it always is different too, because the wire sometimes just does its own thing. And I fun fact about metal and wire, and this is true for craft wire just as much as solid metal, the more you work it, the harder it gets. So sometimes when you're trying to bend it one way, maybe you've already worked it in a previous step and you can't quite get it the way you want it to go, because it's just harder already than maybe it should be for the step that you're trying to do, and things like that. So it's always kind of different. So even if you do the same project twice, you might end up with slightly different ends tucked in, because it's just not always quite the same.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's a good point, is that when you're working with wire, you are going to be work hardening the wire as you're weaving and working.
Right. So these are the back sides of my two hearts here, and these are two samples, and none of the back sides are the same. I don't know if you can tell, but they're not.
So cool. That magnifier is amazing.
It's just a little clip-on macro lens for the iPhone, but it makes all the difference. But you see, like, they're similar, but they're not identical. And that's just how it is with wire, I find. And, trying to recreate the same thing twice is hard. Like, making two earrings is one of my pet peeves. I hate it.
I know. I probably should have made a pendant as my first option here. I went right for the earrings, and then I was like, oh, they're not the same. Right. But one of the things we like to say, right, everyone, is they are sisters, not twins. So
like that.
They are like each other, but they're not exactly the same.
But yeah, so it's a little bit of a, an art form. I'm trying to see what I can show you on how and where to hide wires in the back. And it's just sort of, you get better at it the more you do it.
Mm-hmm. See, because you have to end it somewhere. And that's the part that I think that's probably how you can tell someone's been, really practiced and done it for a while, is how well they can hide those little bits of wire.
Exactly. It really is true. And, the more you practice that, the more comfortable your jewelry gets too, because, you don't have anything sticking out and it looks more clean. And that's probably really practice over and over.
So cool. Is there anything else I didn't ask you that you would like to share?
No, I think we talked about everything, unless there's questions from someone. I mean, if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to respond or answer.
Yeah, so I'll give you guys all a chance to either ask a question, or if you haven't entered the giveaway, you have a chance to enter it right now. And we've got 62 entries, and we've got about 70 people watching right now live. So, if you haven't entered yet, now is your chance. And if you have any questions for Sandra, go ahead and ask them, while I sit here and just keep wrapping way too many on my bottom row. This comes out. I just
You
love the
can always do
texture.
the little trick that we do on the heart. I don't know if you remember, but we did actually we might have not done that in the class because it takes more time. But sometimes I just wrap around the bottom and then I fold over the bare wire
Mm.
so that they cross, and it gives like a cool additional texture look. I love combining like bare wire and woven wire because it just has that like more fun texture. And so, just keep wrapping around the one and then fold it over.
Interesting. Yeah, I definitely was quite impressed with how everyone's just sort of worked at the end. It was like everyone was like, what are we doing? What is going on? How am I going to make this look good? And it's like, oh, it just worked at the end. It just
Trust the
all was like
process.
magic.
Yeah, and I've done this class with the hearts like I think 5-6 times now.
Mm-hmm.
And every time, every single heart always turns out different, but they always turn out beautiful.
Yeah, they were. It was like some were longer and skinnier, some were, and they were all just gorgeous. So
Yeah.
it's really a fun project. Kim is saying these are amazing pieces. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, thanks for being here. I was so glad that Sandra said she would come on. She didn't know what she was saying yes to. She didn't know what we were doing. But I just felt like the class was so wonderful. I love what I created. And whenever I shared it, when I got back, I shared all of my goodies of what I made. Everyone was just like, oh, ooh, gasping, like, ooh, ah. So I knew that it would be a really fun, chance for everyone else to be introduced to you and your work too. So thanks for saying yes, being brave and jumping on with us for this beading party. Kim is asking a question. She says, do you use round wire, half round wire, or square wire when you weave?
Oh, that is such a great question because there's all these different ones out there. I do talk about this in detail in that free resource, my wire basics, but I personally use exclusively round wire because the round on round sits the best when you're doing the weaving. A lot of wire wrappers love using square base wires because especially when you're trapping a stone for a pendant, the square wires, they sit better around the stone. I find that the round wire woven around the square wire doesn't look as good, doesn't sit as well for me personally and for the designs I make. So I stick with round. Weaving with half round is impossible because it will twist and turn and bend and it will just look really not good. But half round wire sits really well against square wire for wrapping. So if you wanted to wrap multiple wires together, using half round wire for that is a really good way to cover a lot of distance in a short way while still looking nice.
Awesome. Thank you for that. What a wonderful question, Kim, because it does make a difference what you use and what kind of makes sense for the project that you're working on. And I would agree with you. I think weaving is probably the best with just round wire. It just is comfortable. It sits. I could see like square. I just wouldn't get it to like lay flat on all the sides properly. That would probably be really difficult and just look a little sloppy unless you really have mastered that technique.
And a lot of wire weavers do it. A lot of wire weavers use square base wire and round weaving wire.
Wow.
And for pendants, that's fine if you're covering, say, like just a short distance, say at the bottom, and then the rest is bare. It's okay. But I find doing really long distance on that just doesn't look as nice for me personally.
Yeah. Good.
Does some soft flex do square and half round wire?
We do. We don't have it in all of the gauges. It's not as the round is where we've got all of the colors and all of the different gauges, but we do have a smaller selection of half round and of square. And I've had fun with square just when on its own, like just doing like, kind of squiggly designs because the squares really picks up a lot of shine. It gives a lot of sparkle to the design, but I'm never like tried wrapping around it or anything like that. I've just used it as the wire being the component in and of itself in some way.
Yeah, and you can twist it, and then it gives that like really cool twisted look, which you can't do
Yeah.
with wire.
And Becky is saying that she likes the look of a half round around a stone better than the square. And the half round is nice because the flat side will sit on the stone, and then you'll have that lovely round side that, you know, that you see. So I think that that's really a pretty look too. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, let's go ahead and choose our winner. You must be here, so make sure to let me know in the comments if I call your name. Otherwise, we will end up calling somebody else new. So here we are. We've got 66 entries, and we've got 79 of you now watching. So if anyone else wants to enter, you must type really quick right now. Drum roll. Let's see. I always feel like right before I go to hit draw, like I get one more person that sneaks in there. Oh, there's Mandy. She got in there. 68. We got a couple more of you in there. Awesome. All right, here we go. This is so fun. Oh, Joan on YouTube. Hooray. Let me know in the comments that you are here, Joan. So exciting. We love seeing that confetti and giving away free prizes. So Joan, if you are here, you will win one of our Monster Mash supply kits. Monster Mash is happening tomorrow and Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, both days. Congrats, Joan. Are you still here?
That is so fun with the Monster Mash events. Is it a free event? So can you just join?
You can. Yeah, anyone can join and anyone can watch. We just had kits if you wanted to purchase the kits and bead along with the classes and make what the designers were making. But if you don't have a kit, that is okay. You can still come watch us and hang out.
So fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. It is a good time. And then we get to have all sorts of, new designers on. So everyone gets to see something other than what Sarah and I tend to make, so it's kind of fun to have some new people in the mix.
Yeah, we should do the heart for Valentine's Day next year.
We should. That's a wonderful idea. Thanks for throwing that out there, because I think I'm going to make a note of that. I think that would be fantastic. I would love that.
Yeah, we can make a smaller version since I think you said it's an hour.
Yeah, I know. Shorten it down just a little bit. Joan is here. Congratulations, Joan. Please send us an email at info@softflexcompany.com and let us know your shipping address, and we will get your prize in the mail to you. Hooray! Thank you all so much for joining us today. It's been just such a pleasure. Thank you for saying yes to come in and hang out with us, Sandra, and show us all your beautiful designs and how you get started with weaving and all of your wonderful tips. And we look forward to seeing you again on another one, and maybe in a party in the future too.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was amazing and so much fun. Thank you. And thanks for everyone for the great questions and the nice comments. I really appreciate that.
It's been a blast. So you can find Sandra at entangledco.com. You can find her over on Instagram. I think it's also Entangled Co over there. Yep. And then what is your handle on Twitch?
It's also Entangled Co everywhere.
You can find her everywhere under Entangled Co. So wherever you like to go hang out, go see if you can find Sandra there and follow her. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the Monster Mash. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.